Imagine living among 100 men, every single day, under relentless fear. Imagine the sound of gunfire breaking through the night, explosions shaking the ground beneath your boots. You look over, and your friend, the man you shared rations and laughter with, is lying in the dirt, screaming. A leg gone, blood pouring. Moments later, a helicopter rises into the smoky sky, and he's gone forever. You never find out if he lived or died. That's what the Vietnam War was like, a world of chaos, fear, and fading faces. You're listening to Vietnam veteran David Bowman, a man who lived through both the jungles of Vietnam and the battlefields of 1960s America. In 1989, independent filmmaker David Hoffman interviewed him, one of over 200 veterans who shared their stories of courage, loss, and survival. What David reveals is not just a soldier's memory, it's a reflection of a generation torn apart by war. When David came home from Vietnam, his war didn't end. In 1969, he joined the San Francisco Police Department, just as the city burned with riots, protests, and radical movements. Pipe bombs, street assassinations, and chaos filled the streets of Haight-Ashbury. Police stations turned into fortified camps surrounded by high fences and floodlights. For David, it felt like Vietnam all over again, this time in the heart of America. He worked the midnight shift, guarding the perimeter with an M16 rifle in hand, the same weapon he carried overseas. When protests turned violent, he and other officers were deployed to Berkeley, the so-called People's Republic of Berkeley. There, anti-war chants turned to riots. Windows shattered, streets burned. And once again, he found himself at war, but this time against his own countrymen. Unlike many Vietnam veterans, David's war didn't stop abruptly. His years in law enforcement slowly weaned him off combat life, one day at a time. While many soldiers were dropped back into normal society with no guidance, David's transition was ongoing, from battlefield survival to street survival. He remembers patrolling through the Haight-Ashbury district, the center of the 1960s counterculture. People lived in buses, used drugs openly, and rejected every form of conformity. To him, they were lost, unkempt, broken souls chasing freedom, but finding chaos. He once recalled a haunting scene, a couple handing over their dead baby at the station as if it were just another possession to discard. Moments like that never leave you. Years later, when the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was finally built, David found peace. For decades, he never knew what happened to his lost friends. No names, no contact, no closure. But standing before that black granite wall, seeing names etched in stone, he could finally connect memory with truth. He could finally find them. The war left him skeptical, not bitter, but aware. He learned to question authority, to look beyond headlines and see the full picture. He served through Nixon and Ford, witnessing firsthand how government operates behind closed doors. Now, he says, I don't take anything at face value. I always wonder what the real story is. For David Bowman, the 1960s were not a time of peace and love. They were years of fire, confusion, and endurance. From the jungles of Vietnam to the streets of San Francisco, he faced chaos on every front. But through it all, he remained standing, a soldier, a cop who witnessed America's most turbulent decade. His story reminds us that not all wars are fought overseas. Some are fought within.